Okay, we have our next live in-studio guest. Welcome Vince, if I can say this right, Scuncio?
Scuncio works.
Scuncio from San Diego Smart Sale. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me on today. I appreciate it.
Great. So tell us a little bit about San Diego Smart Sale. We just got done talking about leveraging for real estate, and you are you are in the real estate business, are you not?
I am in the real estate business, but I am known as the Attorneys Realtor, so I have a little bit of unique spin on real estate where the traditional agent is very consumer direct. You'll see their names on billboards, bus stops, those little dividers on shopping carts. All my business is attorney specific. So I work with clients that don't necessarily want to sell, but need to sell.
Okay. So you're working with a lot of distressed properties?
Almost entirely distressed properties.
Okay. And if your business comes exclusively from attorney referral, tell us a little bit about what type of attorneys are those that send you business?
Primarily, I work with either estate or divorce attorneys. There are some bankruptcy attorneys in town that I work with as well, or any of their affiliates, such as fiduciaries or whatnot. Again, distressed sale, people typically think of a distress sale as a foreclosure or a short sale, but it's also a distress situation. So you have a situation where someone who's lost a loved one, or someone who they're in the midst of a divorce or a separation, and they have to do something with that real estate. They don't just need someone that can put a sign out front or put it on the MLS and take a couple photos. They really need someone that that's a little more compassionate and understands the emotion behind the sale and can, I guess, communicate with both parties.
I find it interesting because I've been in and around the real estate business for many years, and the thing that we have to recognize in real estate is something that you recognized a long time ago, is that there are so many different ways that real estate gets bought and sold and traded and everything else. You need the right representation. You're a specialist in what you do. Would you want to go in and hire your brother-in-law that got a real estate license 3 weeks ago to help you on a property that's distressed and you have all kinds of issues with? No, you need a specialist in that field. So I appreciate what you do. Any great stories that you can tell our listeners about some of the things that you've helped people with?
Well, probably I don't know if it's a funny story, but one of the things we kind of run into is the situations where people are in their home and they really don't have anywhere to go. And you see this a lot in short sales where they're getting a foreclosure notice or something along those lines, and they just don't know what to do. And we've been successful in short sales of stretching some of those transactions out. I have one that's closing this week that I listed in 2013.
Wow.
And the seller's hasn't made a payment in almost 3 years. Is getting $10,000 incentive to move. And that's becoming more and more common as the banks are trying to clear these out. And I could tell like divorce stories and estate stories. I mean, there's a lot. The niche that I pick, my fiance is always like, well, how come everything's so difficult? I go, well, it's kind of what I market to is those difficult situations, and if you take a married couple like I mentioned before, you take a married couple that's trying to decide on the sale of a home, try a married couple that doesn't like each other. And, so it is a very unique niche, and it's a specific training that I've gone through to be able to address the emotional side of a distress sale, not just the transactional side.
Yeah. So you've got to Dr. Phil the situation.
Oh, yeah.
As much as understand the transactional elements.
Yeah, well, if you think of it in a divorce situation, you have opposing counsel, right? And those two they have a professional courtesy to each other, but they may not get along. Right. So if I don't just represent the wife or the husband, I represent both parties. Right. And I tell people, I said, what you tell me, I'm going to tell them, and what you tell them, I'm going to tell you. I'm not an attorney. I don't have any privilege here. Right. My job is to take care of this whole situation and keep all parties in the loop, so to speak.
Yeah, whatever you say can be used against you in this court of law.
Real estate agent, you handle mortgages, and you're a mediator all at the same time.
I am, yeah. So that's not on my card.
Yeah.
So you primarily handle the listings. Do you also handle the sales side?
I don't normally represent the buyer side because even though we're licensed to do so, you have a fiduciary duty to your client, and specifically in those distress sales, you don't want to give any kind of hint of impropriety or that I'm trying to represent the buyer, which may not be in the best interest of the seller. So more often than not, I will just tell them, hey, go get your own agent. Or I can refer them to somebody, but my firm doesn't typically handle buyers.
You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170theanswer.com. Give us a tweet at CloseUpSD. Email me at barry@closeupsandiego.com or find our page on Facebook. We want to hear from you. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with Andrea K. Urban Miaris, and our guest is Vince Scuncio with San Diego Smart Sale. That's an interesting position. You know, I do my fair share of what I call divorce planning, which is, you know, it's always interesting. I can't say it's the most fun because you get into in the middle of a lot of squabbles. But there are so many challenges in dealing with that. My hat's off to you, because I can't imagine your typical real estate professional getting in the middle of two squabbling spouses and their attorneys.
Yeah, squabbling is probably a nice way of saying it. You're right. A lot of realtors will get in the middle of it, but they just may not know how to best handle it. You know, most times you see a divorce situation. My brother, cousin, sister, uncle is a realtor. I mean, there's almost 30,000 licensed agents in San Diego County. Only four of us have a designation in real estate and divorce specialty. Mortgages.
Does it get even more challenging the higher the income involved, or is it the same whether it's a high income or not?
The higher the income, usually the more challenging, because without trying to be, usually one spouse, and it's usually the man, is the one that's handled all the
easy now.
I don't mean to be.
I know, I'm teasing you, but it's true. It's true though.
Yeah, and so the wife isn't really aware of. And it does sound stereotypical, but she's not aware of all the finances. The husband always handles it. Like in my relationship, I handle all the stuff in the household. My fiance does, her job. But so you have a combative divorce as it is, where one side seems to have all the cards, the other side doesn't, and they don't want to tell each other. The husband doesn't want the wife knowing what's going on. The wife doesn't want the husband knowing what's going on. And I've got to say, I've got to tell you both, because I have a legal and fiducial obligation to both parties, which none of the attorneys have, none of the mediators have. It's a very unique position as a realtor. Yeah,
and when the separation comes in and the divorce starts happening, then they start, the women start looking around who you know for a divorce attorney or a family law attorney, and they are. You remember Beatrice Snyder?
I do.
Oh my! You know what?
Ooh, what a hot witch!
You know what? That is just one lady I would not want to go into battle against.
And she's one lady I'd want representing me.
I know. Believe me, I've had some high-profile clients that we talked about that were represented by her.
And I've worked with her.
Oh, you have?
I'm sure you have. On
both sides of the coin.
Yeah. Well, you're a better man than me. So anyway, but no, it's an interesting business to specialize in.
And why choose it? Because most people run from, there's so much, real estate in San Diego, so much money to be made. Why not go for the low-hanging fruit? Why step into an area where only 4 people are designated for it? It's such a specialty and so difficult. Most people run from difficult.
Well, think about this, is that, and this is plainly monetary, but you go to a dentist, got to get something done. If you need a root canal, they don't do it. They send you to a specialist. Specialist only does root canals, or if you have a doctor,
or oral surgery,
or something like that. Can that oral surgeon do a cavity fill? Yeah, but that's not what they specialize in. So they only do a very unique and specific task, and they are the best at it. I only work with distressed clients that come from attorneys. I don't do any other kind of real estate. If you're not referred by an attorney or fiduciary, I won't work with you, because I only specialize in that emotional sale. And so I'm, without kind of come across cocky, I'm really good at it. I'm in the top 1% of agents.
Wow.
But it's a very unique niche, and there's a lot more involved to it than just sticking a sign out front, taking a couple photos and putting it on the MLS and saying done.
You know that, huh, Barry?
Oh, yeah. Well, the first thing that I said when we got into the green room with Vince is, he reminds me of the Trevor Hoffman of real estate, because, he's a great closer, but when one falls off the books, he has one bad day, he's the type that can walk away from it and get right back to business.
We should have Hell's Bells playing in the background for this segment with Vince.
Now you do more than residential. You do commercial and businesses. And what about out of state?
I only work residential. I'm licensed anywhere in California. I handle specifically residential real estate under $2 million. Anything above that, it's not as matter that I can't handle the marketing of it, but when you get above $2 million in real estate, it becomes a totally different marketing approach. As you probably aware, Barry, is like when you get those $100 million clients, that's a little bit different niche, and so you fall outside your specialty. And I don't want to be the jack of all trades. It doesn't. I can't service those people as well as I can $2 million and below. But I can help someone who's in a situation where they have to. Like a lot of times, people want to keep the house in a divorce. They want to refinance in a probate or a passing of a loved one situation where there's multiple heirs. Again, maybe one of them wants to keep the home and they want to refinance the other people off. But everything is specific to that situation.
Interesting. Well, we're starting to run short on time. Tell our listeners how they find out more about you.
You can give me a call. My office is 760-729-8550, or you can check out my website at www.vincescuncio.com. And if you can't pronounce it, it's spelled Scuncio as in Oscar. That's vincescuncio.com.
Great.
Fantastic. At the risk of sounding petty, I have to say the obvious, that, it might help that you look like Christopher Reeve in Superman, right? When you come into these situations, who wants to take on Superman, right?
Yeah, I don't even know how to respond to that, but thank you. I know it's a compliment.
It is.
It got hot in here all of a sudden.
Only Andrea Kay could pull that one off. So anyway, well, I welcome our listeners to check out Vince and go to www.vincescuncio.com. And with that, Vince, I appreciate you being with us.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Great. This is Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170, Send us a tweet at CloseUpSD or just find our page on Facebook. You can always email me at Barry@CloseUpSanDiego.com. Let me know what you think. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.